everybody, what's up? My name is he said hey everybody, what's up? My name is Lucinity and welcome in to Ladies Night. Tonight is going to be a very awesome show and I'm super excited about it because it's kind of like a full circle moment for me personally. So this is going to be great. I want to say what's up to everybody who's hanging out in chat. I see we've had some fat raids come in today. Thank you, Oath. Thank you, Kayla. Thank you, all the follows, Spartan, Panda, Valentine, Rocky, Mary Mince, Exo Drag. Thank you all so much. I see you all there. I wish I could keep up with everybody. Thank you for the hype train as we just started out. Absolutely incredible. Really excited to kind of share this night with you all. And I'm excited that you all decided to, kick it with me. First things first, I gotta thank HCS. Thank you, HCS, for putting this episode on the calendar. I think that's absolutely incredible, and that made me feel so cool. So I gotta give my props to you. Thank you so much for putting me on the community calendar for this episode specifically, and thank you for the drops. You guys can watch for 2 hours today, and you can earn the Gladiator's Edge coating. And a little fun fact about that is the coating that I rock all of the time. If you see me, I love looking like sparkly tinfoil, and this coating just does it for me. So if you guys watch for 2 hours today, you'll also have the ability to get that as well. So again, shout out to HCS for kind of the support and showing us love. We're going to talk a little bit about last week. So last week we had Selexi. For anybody that was here, if you guys were here last week and you saw the episode, go ahead and throw a 1 in the chat. I want to know who was here, who saw the episode. But we talked to Selexi, and Selexi is the community manager for brands like Space Panda Delta, Clutch One, and Glitch Energy, which is really cool. And she kind of went over things about what brands look on social media like at, and what they expect out of you, and how to kind of build a relationship with brands and get yourself up there to where you feel comfortable enough to ask for brand deals or partnerships. So that was a really fun episode. If you guys haven't seen it yet, you guys can go to my YouTube channel. I have all of the previous Lady Nights episodes linked on there in a playlist, so you can watch absolutely every single one. Shout out to all the phenomenal women who have been on this season so far. This started out as just a dream, and this is what I'm doing now. So Generic, Veronica, shoot, Sparty, Gun Goddess, Sarvana, like Meg McMuffin, so many of you. I probably am missing some. Just like absolutely incredible. Thank you so much for taking your time out to come on here, share your story, and just kind of do, some talking. Another little things that we're going to talk about really quickly is just some HCS news that kind of popped up. The first HCS major is less than 2 weeks away. So yeehaw, we got our cowgirl hat on. We are yeehawing all the way to Arlington. We're super excited about it. What do you guys expect out of it? I don't know. My heart is rooting for Sentinels and Space Station. You all know that. But it should be a really fun event. It is hosted by Optic Gaming, and it's going to be March 15th through the 17th. It's going to be streaming live on Twitch at twitch.tv/Halo, or you can also watch it on YouTube at youtube.com/HCS. However, to get drops, you will need to be watching on Twitch. But that's the first HCS major of the year. It's coming up, it's approaching, and we're so excited about it. Another thing that we got to talk about too is congratulations, Europe. Europe got their own HCS major, and today Quadrant actually announced the dates for that. So the Quadrant EU HCS major is going to be May 31st and June 2nd. Or through June 2nd, I'm sorry, at, and again, I'm not from the UK, so if I say this wrong, I apologize in advance. But it's going to be at Twickenham Stadium. Quadrant has a really cool post out there about it. If anyone is interested in checking out that post, I just put it for you right here in the chat. You guys can go ahead and look at that. Quadrant did make some announcements about that today, so I think that's really exciting. Europe has been asking for their own HCS event, and they finally got one, and it's really cool to kind of see everybody, get excited to go out there. It's cool to see people from North America planning to go out there, and maybe if you are going to the London event, let me know. I want to know. Take pictures, show me it, let's talk about it. I'm really excited to live through you guys, because the FOMO is already setting in for me, because I will not be in London, unfortunately. So that's kind of what happened this week in HCS. Really excited about it. Should be really fun. Thank you so much, Kushmaster, for the follow. I see all of you in there. I also appreciate it too. Yeah, so now we're going to go into kind of what's going on tonight and we're going to talk about it. I have some incredibly badass women who are on tonight's show, and I'm so excited about it because never did I ever think that I would be able to kind of sit down and like have this opportunity with them. So the fact that we're doing it is absolutely incredible. The guests that I have on tonight's show are going to be Oath. You guys might know her as the all-around Halo content creator badass. She was previously with G1, and despite going through a lot of hard things, she kind of held herself and kind of, kept that sense of calm and poise. And I think that that's really important to highlight. And I think that she's a badass. So I've always looked up to her, and she's on the show today. So that's really cool. We also have Kayla. I've heard Kayla be called so many different names. I've heard Allie, I've heard Kayla, I heard ALYEK, so we're gonna definitely discuss that today too. But she is also here on the show today with us. She is a badass Halo content creator. She's a desk host, caster for LVT. She's also a part of HCS Grassroots, same as Oath, and just all around a badass. She's a very successful content creator in this space, and the knowledge that she has to offer and share is something that we should all listen to because where she is really admirable. And then my last guest is so freaking cool. I'm so stoked about it. It's Lottie. You guys all know, if you've been in here for watch parties, you've definitely seen me get super excited whenever I see Lottie on screen. She's on the show today. So for those of you who aren't familiar with Miss Lottie, Lottie is a desk host for HCS, the Halo Championship Series, and for the CDL. So these are going to be the guests that we have here today, and I'm going to actually start things off with bringing Oath out, and we're gonna have chat. Everybody say hello to Miss Oath. If you don't know Oath, this is Oath for you. But everybody say hello to her, and chat say hello. Oath, how are ya?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I had work today and we did a little stream, but I'm getting my second win, so I'm chilling.
Second win, Conda doing big boy stretches in the back. Everybody see
But
Conda back
he
there.
will end up on the floor at some point. Just it's slowly gonna sink.
King Conda. Everybody absolutely should know who Oath is. If you don't, I'm gonna introduce you to her. This is Oath. To me, Oath, when I first entered the scene, Oath was kind of like the queen of Halo. Everybody wanted to, like do the things that Oath was doing. So it's really cool to have you on here. I've told you, and I'll tell you time and time again, I can't thank you enough for things that you've done for me and for the things that you do for everybody else. I think it's absolutely incredible. So thank you for taking the time out, and hanging out here today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. I wouldn't be ladies night if I didn't invite Oath. Let's be serious. So I do want to ask what just to kind of get people who aren't familiar with you, how long have you been gaming and playing Halo for?
So playing Halo, I think I picked up Halo when I was like 12, but I've been gaming for like, I don't know, I can't even recall the age. So since the beginning, but Halo I didn't get into until I was like 12 because I wasn't really allowed to play like Xbox and stuff, and I just kind of snuck in there one day. And then streaming I didn't start until like 2016.
Do you have a favorite video game or a video game that stands out to you that you played when you were younger that kind of made you want to game more?
So I don't know about like, it definitely didn't get me into other games because like I think Halo did that for me. But I think the first game that I got really addicted to and like binged like crazy was either like, there's like three of them. It's like a tie. Zoo Tycoon, like the old one. The Sims 2. And Harvest Moon DS, which I've never played another Harvest Moon game that has like lived up to that one, and I still play it. I have like a 10-year-old file on my really old cartridge that I still play every year.
Wasn't The Sims, I think I saw you post something about this on Twitter. I don't know how crazy this is if I bring this up too, but didn't you, before you and Nick got together, didn't you guys have like a Sim family?
Yeah,
with a dog that kind of looked like Conda. I feel like I remember seeing, and I specifically remember seeing the dog and thinking like, whoa, that's like totally full circle.
Yeah, I think one of the times like before we could like visit each other, I was playing The Sims because we would send like Discord calls and like do gaming stuff. And I made like a Sims family or like file, and I didn't have Conda yet, so I just like I had like the pets expansion, so I gave myself a Doberman, and then I had us like living in a city apartment, which is where we're at currently. So it kind of came full circle. But yeah, you're right.
That's awesome though. Every time I see Conda, I think about that. I'm like, he was totally manifested the whole
He was
situation.
manifested.
Manifested, and now look at him, just back there being the happiest
He's
dog
my
in the world.
co-host.
Yeah, this is Conda's show. This is all about Conda, actually. If no one knew, this is Conda's night. Look at him.
There he is. Yeah, he'll be there the whole time. Oh, he knows.
He knows. He's like, everyone's looking at me. Absolutely not. Crazy. So, how long you're with HCS Grassroots? How long have you been with Grassroots for?
That's a good question. I can't remember now. I think I joined them in 2021.
Okay.
Which I think Lalo and Div were the ones who told me, and they did it in such a sneaky way. I like hadn't heard from them in a while, and then like, and I don't know if Infinite had come out yet or if it had like just come out, and they like called me to like kind of like see about doing like they told me it was going to be like an interview on like what we thought Infinite would be like or how we liked Infinite, because I can't remember what came first. So like here I was thinking like, oh damn, they're probably doing this out of like pity because I didn't get it. So we're gonna do this little interview thing. And like it might have been Tashi, it might have been Div, but I know Lala was there. And like they went through like 10 questions, and I'm sitting there like, I'm glad they wanted to do this, but I'm like, dang, like I really didn't get it. And the last question they asked, Lala was like, so what's it feel like to be a grassroots partner? And I was like if I was a grassroots partner, like if I did get in, and he was like, no, like, cause you are in. And I was like, huh? Like it took a minute to like click.
That
was
fun
like
way
2021.
to find out, though. That's a fun way to find out. I feel like to like kind of be surprised, especially if you went into it not really knowing, you know, that like that was the conversation or the way that it was gonna go. That has to feel like such a win.
Yeah, I definitely went the whole time thinking like, oh, this is like a pity like interview. And then
I've been there though. I've been there where I've been like, oh, they definitely just call me back because they feel bad. Like,
yeah, that's what I thought that was. And he snuck that in. I was like, what the heck?
Just casually slides it in there. Like, yeah, by the way, I love that for you though. That's incredible. Do you have you, aside from like Halo, have you ever created content for another game or like anything like that, or like any other game titles, or has it always been for you just kind of like Halo?
So it depends on what you mean by content creation. So as far as like streaming, I've done like a little bit of variety. Actually, before I was a Halo streamer, I was like an indie horror game streamer. Because when I started on Twitch, I had like no idea how Twitch worked. So I had no clue what I was doing. I literally YouTubed everything. And the first game that I streamed was Welcome to the Game 2, which is like the most random indie game ever. I think there were 2 viewers in the directory. And I streamed that for like 2 weeks, and I was like, yeah, this is gonna work. And I did that. And then I did like some other horror games, things, did the Outlast series. And then I kind of became a Dead by Daylight streamer for a few months.
Is that the game where you run around and someone like chases you?
Yeah, the murder.
I've watched that. That's a scary, like I watched it and this girl was like, oh, it's not scary. And then 2 seconds later, she got like hung up on the wall by a hook. And I was like, no, this is scary, ma'am. Like,
yeah, so I was technically a Dead by Daylight streamer before I was a Halo streamer. Because I like didn't think, I was playing a ton of Halo 5. That's why I started streaming, because I was like, oh, I like can't do anything else, so I should try this. And then I just found like a really roundabout way, because I didn't have money and I didn't have a capture card or any of the gear. So I just found like a weird way to capture my gameplay that was like really botched, but it worked. So then I started streaming Halo. So
I feel you
horror games, I guess.
When you first started streaming, do you think it's safe to say that you kind of like didn't know what you were really doing or getting into?
No, not at all.
Long
story short,
that's the only reason why I asked, is because I want other people to know that like that feeling is totally normal, and like don't get discouraged if you feel like you have not a single clue what you're doing, because truthfully none of us do half the time. So.
No, I did everything wrong. I started streaming because I was a sophomore in college, and I was like really down because I like destroyed my foot in a really stupid way. So I had to like quit my job and quit my club sport, and I couldn't like go out because I was in a giant boot and on painkillers and on like crutches. So I was like, I literally can't do anything. So I was like, I'm just gonna learn how to Twitch stream because I play a lot of Halo. And this was before Stream Elements and Streamlabs, like before there were
The
like
early days of Twitch,
presets.
essentially. Yeah, like the early days.
Exactly. So I just like went on Google and YouTube and like looked up how to stream and just like kind of followed like Reddit threads on how to do it. So like I was streaming off of a laptop and OBS and like a crappy webcam that I used for school and a headset. So that was really it. That's what I started with. I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know about like directory sizes and like what games are good or not, or like I didn't know anything. I just started doing it.
That's
For
kind of
fun.
yeah. I feel like that's kind of how a lot of people kind of start too. Is they kind of like I want to do this, and they like think about it, and then they do it a little bit, and then they're like, you know what, maybe I want to do this more. And it's like such a learning curve when you first start too, especially like for me, I stream on console, right? So I feel like doing things on console versus like doing things on a PC in regards to streaming is very difficult sometimes.
Mhm. I have no idea how to console stream, so I don't even know how to
You're
do
not
what you do.
missing much. Yeah, you're not missing much. It's a little bit chaotic, but we get it. But yeah, so thank you so much for coming on today and stuff like that too. We're going to go over to Miss Kayla slash Allie slash ALYEK now, and we are going to pick her brain just a little bit. Hi, how are you today?
Hi, I'm doing great. How are you? Well, I think I'm doing great. I think I caught a little bit of a cold traveling back here, but I think
Oh
I sound
no.
okay, right? I think,
Yeah, I think
that's
you sound okay. Your mic sounds
okay, good.
fabulous. That's something I've always noticed about you. Like, I think that your
Thank you.
mic sounds so phenomenal, so crisp. Starting this off though, let's set the record straight here. So, I've heard people call you Kayla. I believe it was Tools on LVT call you Allie. And then at Worlds, I had people say ALYEK. What do you prefer to go by, or what would you like me to call you during the stream?
I think people that have met me in person have called me Kayla. I think online I still prefer ALYEK or Ali. And if
Yeah.
you know me in person, like I've hung out with you, then Kayla. But I mean, I don't
Perfect.
mind either, but
Okay.
ALYEK would be the way. Yeah, my Twitch
Perfect.
name.
So we're gonna say ALYEK because I just wanted to make sure that I was at least addressing you properly because I was like, there's so many names. I was like, I don't know which one. So perfect. I'm happy that I know that. And how about how long? Because you're a part of HCS Grassroots too, and I believe you were announced a little bit over a year ago, wasn't it?
I believe so. Time has flown by so fast. I think it was a year ago. Was it a year after Halo Infinite? I think so. Yeah,
It was
probably
definitely Halo Infinite, I believe, because it was I think it was about a year or so ago. I remember seeing the
after.
announcement because they posted a photo of I believe it was you, Tony, and I think Lewis was on there too. But it was like of you guys right when you found out and you were like shocked or something like that. And he was like, this is what they looked like when we told them that they made Grassroots. And you're like, ah.
Yes. So what they did was they said that they would do like a phone call, like a video call for something. I can't remember what the made up excuse was for it. I think they were just gonna go.
Pattern.
Yeah. I think they have like a little thing that they like to do. And I think they were just gonna just chat with me. And then they have this like PowerPoint where they're just going over some things. And I barely remember even what the conversation was because the only thing I remember was when they swapped over to the last slide where it said that photo of me and it said that I was a Grassroots creator, which is the same thing as Oath. I was like, wait. Huh? Wait, they just threw it in there because I was not ready for it to be that. I just couldn't process it honestly. So they kind of did the little surprise thing as well for me.
That's absolutely incredible. And then something too that I've noticed, you cosplay here and there. I don't know if you do it a lot or if it's just specifically Halo characters, but I wanted to talk to you about it. What's your favorite Halo cosplay you've done?
Definitely the last one I did. Captain Keys. I mean, Miranda Keys. She's such a. It just turned out so well. I'm just so happy the way it turned
You
out. I
look
have very.
so good at Worlds as Miranda Keys.
Thank
Honestly, there
you.
were so many people too when you would like walk by who like I heard them physically say out loud like, "Oh my God, she looks so good as that." And I was like, "Yeah!" So you definitely
Thank you.
nailed it. Absolutely
Yeah,
incredible.
that was a last minute cosplay because they invited us to main stage for the Halloween event, and they said the only requirement is that you have a costume, and I'm like, wait, and how long? So I had this idea about cosplaying her a while ago, but when the opportunity came, I was like, okay, I have to do Miranda Keys, so I just went on the internet and I tried to piece everything together, and it looked, I didn't know how it was going to look until the day before,
Oh,
so
it
I'm
looks
glad
so
it actually
good.
ended up looking okay. But yeah, I enjoy doing cosplays, not just Halo cosplays, but whatever character I feel inspired to do. So I'm not going to look for doing a cosplay after a certain time frame. I just like, oh, I feel like doing this cosplay, so I'm just going to get the pieces together and just do it. Or if there's a new game coming out and I like the character, I'll probably dress up for it.
I love that. Honestly, do you have a character that is your favorite that you cosplay or that you like to kind of get ready? Mine is like I do Cortana sometimes and I don't know what it is about painting myself
Hmm.
blue, but I love it. It's
Yeah,
just it's something about it.
I mean, it's Cortana.
Yeah.
I think my favorite one was definitely Loba from Apex, because
Ooh.
I made like I it's the one that's taken me the most like crafting time. I had to like paint the corset and then the boots. I had to like figure out how to get the red lines on it, and I felt like, oh my gosh, I'm one of those cosplayers that makes everything from scratch, but this is not from scratch, but it's the closest I've gotten to it. So I'm really proud of that one. Plus, I was really into Apex when I was running that cosplay. So I love that one specifically for that reason.
I just started playing Apex. Definitely a lot of fun. I definitely see how easy it is to get sucked into
Yeah.
Apex for sure. There's definitely been some times where I've been playing Apex and I look down and I realize it's like 4 in the morning and I'm like, oh, I should probably go to sleep now. I have things to do. Like, this is unacceptable. But yeah, Apex is a lot of fun. I would love to see that cosplay sometime. That's really cool. And then,
Yeah.
so let's talk about like LVT for a second. So you recently just started casting and desk hosting. I don't know what the proper title I would say would be for that. So please tell me. But you recently started working with them, right? And like kind of
Yeah.
desk hosting and casting. Has this been something that you've always wanted to do?
Yeah, so I think it's something that I started wanting to do about a year ago. It just started growing inside of me, like the curiosity for it.
Yeah.
And the proper title for me right now with LVT is desk host. And then
Perfect.
because of the way the event is, sometimes we they don't throw it back to casters, so I end up accidentally kind of doing a little bit of casting, and I think they do it on purpose. I think they did it on purpose to just send me to do some
To get you
play
used
by
to it,
play.
maybe that's why they're doing it. To like, hey,
They
guess
they don't
what?
ask me. They're just like, all right, all right.
They just put you on the
Um,
spot.
yeah, but it's been I love it. It's really fun. I like being put on the spot, but there's also like just testing my skills as a entertainer, and it's cool. I started wanting to do this about a year and a half ago. I've been streaming for around 7 years now, I think. I started in 2017. So I started feeling that need for wanting to expand on certain skill sets that I feel like streaming and content creation has given me. So
Yeah.
I started getting that craving, and I find myself now with working with LVT as a desk host. So it makes me really happy to be able to like grow that curiosity and that skill that I've been wanting to develop.
I definitely think that you can tell too from the first time that I saw you on the desk host to like the most recent one. I definitely think that you can kind of hear more confidence in your voice when you speak. And I think that you look a lot more comfortable, but you're doing great. You're doing absolutely
Thanks.
incredible. Like, it's really cool. It's really cool to see you out there and like doing that too. I obviously on ladies night, I'm all about seeing women in esports, and kind of like out there and just kind of doing the thing, and like you're doing it. And I think that's absolutely incredible too. And I think that you kind of stepped up you kind of stepped up in that position, we'll say, when like some not so cool things happened. And I think that it was a really good time because people have somebody to look up to who is a positive person and someone who is very like open and accepting. So I think that that was like really, really cool to see you step up and like see you grow from the beginning to where you are now. So I at least wanted to like mention that and give you flowers for that, because after just doing kind of casting with the Hydra tournament, like that's really not easy. I don't think a lot of people know like how difficult it can be, and like especially with a video game, like it's one thing to talk about your gameplay, but when you're watching somebody else do the gameplay, it's like you don't know what they're thinking, you don't know what they're going to do next, you don't know what to expect. So to be able to, you know, talk about that comfortably and you know, like explain it thoroughly, especially for people who are new, who don't really know what's going on, is truly a gift. And I think that you do it really good. So I at least want to let you know. But and we're gonna kind of hop on over now to Lottie for a second. Thank you for being on today too, and I'll see you in a second. So people who don't know who Lottie is, Lottie is actually the first. So my boyfriend liked Halo, right? And my boyfriend was like, watch Halo Worlds with me. And I was like, I don't want to watch Halo Worlds with you. And he was like, no, watch it with me. And I was like, no, I really don't. And I was like, I don't want to watch this. Like, it doesn't seem fun to me. And then I watched it, and then I saw Lottie, and I was like, who is she? And I thought she was so cool. And I was like, who is that? He was like, oh, she's like the desk host lady. And I was like, what's her name? And he was like, Lottie. And I was like, I want to be like Lottie. Like, I thought that that was so cool. And to see somebody who was like, pardon me for saying, but like a bad bitch, like doing that was like absolutely incredible.
Oh
Like,
my gosh.
I was like, yes. I was like, this is sick. Like, her hair's done, her nails done.
My
She's out
cheeks.
here doing the damn thing. Like, just incredible. So to have you here, like, oh my gosh, I
Thank
feel
you.
so cool.
First of all, Sin, I love that story because look at you now, girl. Look at you now, literally making a whole career on Halo, on a game that you love. You're playing it all the time. You're streaming all the time. I mean, I think that's actually a really cool full circle moment for you. But honestly, thank you. That is very sweet. You're always so kind to me.
Thank you.
I'm pumped to be here. Pumped to be here.
Yeah, it's so cool. It's so cool to have you here, honestly. I was so excited when I asked you, and you're like, absolutely. I was like, oh my God. I like ran to my boyfriend. I was like, you aren't gonna believe this. Like, so excited. It was so cool. So you do, is the proper title for you, would it be like in your job, would it be desk host, desk analyst? Like, what would be the proper term?
So because I'm freelance, I can kind of put a couple of different titles under what I do, and really that is just so that we can bring in some work. If things get slow in the year, it's being able to kind of pull out your bag of tricks, right, and make some money at the end of the day. But in terms of passion-wise, first and foremost, desk host. Some of my best work and most passionate work has come from hosting a desk in esports, and then I would probably say analyst. And then I've also dabbled in a little bit of casting, not very much. It's not my favorite thing to do, but I shall do it if I must, if I absolutely must. But usually that's when something's going wrong or it's a BR. I can cast a BR. I enjoy casting BRs because it's a little bit more color casting. Play-by-play is not really what I want to be doing. But yeah, first and foremost, a desk host for sure.
How long have you been doing like desk host work for?
So my first ever desk hosting was with the HCS. I'd done some interview roles before that and kind of built my way up through a lot of esports. Pretty much anything that anyone would give me and throw at me, I was kind of chomping at the bit for some work and experience. And then I had a really incredible kind of like push from Golden Boy. When he wanted to transition into casting, he was asked to give a recommendation for the desk host of the HCS, and I'd been doing interviews for the HCS back in London, and he put my name forward, and I was like, blimey, okay.
That's incredible.
This is going to be terrifying, but I've got to grab this opportunity with both hands. I've been working my little behind off, so why not? And my first one was in NOLA in 2018, I believe.
Oh, I love that.
And yeah, I was terrified. I was absolutely terrified, but it was the beginning of something much bigger, and yeah, it's been pretty amazing ever since then.
So you started with HCS, and then you also do stuff with CDL, which for people who don't know, if you guys are just kind of listening, HCS is the Halo Championship Series, and then the CDL is the Call of Duty League. So how long have you been doing stuff with Call of Duty for?
actually way before Halo. So Call of Duty was my first ever gig ever. Just
Okay.
period. 2017, I was, funny enough, just met the right person at the right time, and my Twitter being a little bit kind of on the esports side, I was just kind of tweeting about games that I liked. Nothing to do with competition at the time, though, just more me playing and some clips. And I bumped into somebody from Gfinity, and they offered me the role of the interviewer at the CWL London Last Chance qualifiers. So I
Ooh.
was interviewing for folks who are into Call of Duty. I was interviewing people like Tommy back then, Bance, Cammy, and they were honestly like kind of small at the time. Like it's really weird to say that because now they're like superstars, European superstars who are, you know, just unbelievable, super famous. And back then it was so small for them. They were still trying to make their way into this Call of Duty history, and they've done it phenomenal ever since. But that was my first ever gig, and it kind of just took me through the rest of esports. And I've always had a passion for both Halo and COD. Like FPS is really where I want to be. So it was pretty cool to start with those two for sure.
Do you have a preference between like working COD events or Halo events? It's okay. We won't tell Snakebite.
Yeah, don't tell anybody, okay, guys? Everyone in chat, don't tell anyone what I say. Do you know what? It's like asking to pick your favorite child,
Okay.
which is like you probably do have an answer,
But
but
you
it
shouldn't
is
say
it
it.
is hard. You shouldn't say it. I like them both. Well, I love them both for so many different reasons. Halo is a little bit more, I think, I don't know, has my heart maybe a little bit more than COD does, for a number of reasons. I think it was the first big step for me. It was the first kind of AAA title to take a massive chance on me blindly, and let me just try. And that made me feel so unbelievably like confident in that decision, and it pushed me, I think, out of my comfort zone, but really pushed me into who I am today. So I think it's hard to not say Halo just because of the belief they've had in me and
Yeah.
the longevity with them as well. But in terms of the actual games, I love both of the games. I really enjoy playing both of them. So it's a really tough choice, but I would say that Halo is just edging it just a little bit.
Totally. I feel that too. I definitely like multiple FPSs, but for whatever reason, there's something about Halo that just like itches my scratch perfectly, where other games don't really hit that itch or spot. Same thing with watching them too. I will say though, something that's very interesting to me is the crowds at the CDL. They look I don't know. I guess I might have a stage fright thing that I need to get over, because I don't know how you can do it, because sometimes even at HCS Worlds, I look down, there's like so many people, and I was like, wow, they talk so good publicly. I try not to say or throw up. So like
It's something you get used to. It definitely felt that way at the beginning. It felt terrifying at the beginning, and then I quickly realized that the second that camera's on and my production team that are in my ears, when they say go, it's like, I know it sounds so cheesy,
like
but
a
the whole
switch.
world like melts away. I don't see anything else. I don't take notice of anything else other than what I'm talking about and the product I'm trying to get across. And because I think because that means so much to me, and I've worked so hard on the show, that's my main focus, and it really puts into perspective what I'm doing at that time. So it is kind of an afterthought at this point. Not that I don't love a crowd when I hear the crowd going. Honestly, it kind of gets me going as well. Like I get really hype and excited now. But honestly, I'd rather talk to a room of like 10,000 people than to a room of 3. Truly, it's a weird thing now for me.
I mean, it kind of makes sense, because that is like a lot more too many people to focus on, so you don't really register one person's face. You did just say something though that I do want to talk about. You brought
Yes.
up how when you kind of get out there, it's like everything melts away. Something that I noticed that I think is so cool that I want to talk about is at Worlds, right? So I watched you at Worlds. For those who don't know, and obviously everybody does know, Lottie does a podcast with her mans, so we all know that she is with Snakebite. So Snakebite won Worlds, and that was a pretty big deal. Wasn't that 3 rings?
Yes, 3.
Or is it more? Okay,
Yes.
so yes, 3. So 3 rings. So something that I thought was really cool was that you were working on the desk at Worlds. You witnessed your life partner do something phenomenal. You had tears down your face. You ran to the bathroom. You got it all up, and then you went up there and you finished the whole show like nothing even happened. And I thought that was like, I literally watched that and I was like, dude, if I start to tear up, I'm like, the rest of the day. Like I can't, my chin goes bad, like I can't. And I thought that was so incredible because the way that the composure that you had while seeing something that changed not only your life but like his life, like obviously, and like seeing that happen, and kind of working in the same environment and just kind of going back to the desk and like getting yourself back together and kind of just finishing out the event, like that was so cool. Like that
Thank
was so
you.
badass. So like
Thank
definitely
you.
definitely need to give yourself like flowers for that too. That's
I appreciate
incredible.
that.
That
Thank you,
was
Sin.
yeah, that was really 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 cool to see. And I'm sure that it was probably even cooler for you to like take part in that moment, to not only just
Yeah.
be like, yeah, I was there as a spectator, but I was also working and I got to announce it. Like
Yeah.
that was cool.
It was such a weird moment actually because it was so strange emotionally. On one hand, it was like the best day of my life, and on the other hand, it was the hardest day of my life. Just trying to get your emotions in check. And I think if I didn't have that kind of outlook on the crowd and what I do with, like you said, the melting away, I
Yeah.
don't know if I would have been able to pick myself up the way that I had done then, just because how emotional I was. I mean, for me, we're getting married this August. Like, I can't wait.
Woo,
He's end
congratulations.
game. Thank you. He's my end game. He's my everything. And I missed the first two, right? So I was like, I would love to watch him get a third. And so there was so many feelings, flowing through my head. But I think at the forefront of it, I was like, right, I have a job to do. I'm not letting down my community. I'm not letting down my game. Let's get this done. Let's give this season the props it deserves, and let's give my husband the props he deserves without me being an absolute baby. And yeah, get the job done. And I did that. It was honestly a huge moment for me in my career, for sure.
Yeah, I thought that was really really cool to see too. Definitely like a life-changing moment, and just to see it happen to people and like just be happy for other people, like it was just fun to watch. I loved watching that. Like that was so cool to see.
Thank
What
you.
about like over the last year, cuz like you I believe you were the desk host for basically every single HCS event.
Yes, I
So
have been for quite some time actually.
yes,
Even
ma'am.
back in, yes, literally since the 2018, I have been the desk host every single time. Yeah.
So does that mean that you are going to be the desk host in Arlington?
It does. I can say that. Yes.
Woo!
Yes.
That's exciting.
No,
I
no
unfortunately
crazy
won't be
changes.
there, but we will be watch partying from home cheering you on. So
Amazing.
that'll be
Amazing.
incredible.
I,
I'm
I
super
feel it when
excited.
you're watch partying, Sin. I
Yeah.
know. I feel it. I do. I'm like, I get on that camera. I'm like, I know she's watching. I got to make her proud.
We are definitely watching every single time too. What about like last year? Did you have a favorite event that you did?
It's hard not to say Worlds, obviously, for a couple of different
Right.
reasons. But I've got to say, like, the kickoff for me, like, I just enjoyed the first event back. It just feels amazing. It's electric. Everyone's so happy that we're starting up again, and new storyline, new season, new possibility, right, for people's teams and the fans. They're all, they're all excited and ready to see their team crush it. So for me, that's probably always my favorite, and probably always will be, just because of how incredible the fans can be at setting up the season. It's amazing. So yeah, it probably was the first one, and I wouldn't be surprised if my answer's the same if you were to ask me this again next year.
Well, I think that's a pretty fair answer. Like out of all of them too, pretty fair. So my last question is oh, if you guys can hear in the background,
Oh yeah, I'm so
that's
sorry.
definitely, no, it's totally fine. That's definitely, we're gonna brag about it a little bit. That's definitely, you guys are hearing right now Snakebite and Scrims. So it sounds like it's getting a
Yeah.
little serious back there. So we're all gonna wish him luck, and we're all gonna
Yes,
throw the
it's
face
against
face up.
SSG, Sin. You already know. I know you're
Oh
rooting for them, and
no!
they're no joke. Okay, so
I'm over
he's
here with
locked
my
in.
SSG chain on and everything.
Yes.
Oh no! So
So I apologize everyone for that tonight. Hopefully they'll stop fairly soon.
no, it's totally fine. Honestly, it gives it more seasoning. It works
Okay.
out perfectly. So I'm going to give you a quick little break, really quickly, and I actually have a quick announcement that I have to make to everybody. I have two announcements that I have to make to everybody. before we go into a kind of group discussion with everybody, just kind of talking about their experiences in the space and stuff like that. Announcement number 1 is going to be that I am now a Glitch Energy partner. It is official. I am now with Glitch. I'm really excited. You can use code SIN at checkout for a discount. Really excited to be partnering with them. We have some really cool things in the future that I'm excited to be working on, and things that are going to be really cool for the community too. So shout out to Glitch Energy, which leads me into my next announcement. I am going to be casting the next Hydra Women's 4v4 draft tournament that is going to be on March 23rd with Pure Delight. They're bringing it back, they're running it back, and we get to go back in the booth together. I'm super excited. It's going to be a $400 prize pool. It's going to be broadcasted on twitch.tv/Hydra Gaming NA. It's going to be on March 23rd at 2 p.m. Eastern time. There's a command in chat that's set up Hydra, and you can get all the information there. You can follow them in there. So those are my 2 fun little announcements that I wanted to share with my community and with everybody here. So we've been busting our butt off on content behind the scenes and working on things behind the scenes, and to kind of see them all come together has been absolutely incredible. And yeah, so that's just basically it. Just had to tell you guys some little announcements right there. And again, I'm just going to say it again. Also, shout out again to HCS. Thank you so incredibly much for the drops and for everything on today's show. If you guys are watching the show today, you can watch for 2 hours, and you will be able to get yourself the Gladiator's Edge coating. That is the coating that I wear when I play Halo all the time. So you can be cool. So now we're going to kind of go into the next segment of this podcast, and this is going to be a group discussion with all of the guests. So we're all going to come on out together and kind of just chop it up and just kind of talk about what it is to be how it feels to be a woman in this space, some things that we deal with, and some of our experiences and some things to look forward to. So really exciting to kind of get this conversation going. And yeah, let's kind of get it started. So welcome back, everybody. How are you all doing?
Hello.
Good.
We so happy. So again, thank you all so incredibly much for all being here. I appreciate it all of your time too. Time is irreplaceable, so I appreciate you guys giving your time to me today. First things first, you all obviously know each other, so we don't need to introduce everybody to everybody. You all obviously know each other. You've kind of done events with each other and things like that. So the first thing that I kind of want to talk to everybody about is what made you all choose Halo to kind of be like your home base and like kind of create a community in here. And we can, if you want to, we can kind of just go down the line, or whoever wants to go first, that's totally fine. But what made you as a person choose Halo to kind of be your home? We'll have Oath go first.
Oh boy. So, okay, keep in mind, you know what? No, I'm not embarrassed by this actually, because I think a lot of people are in the same boat, even the guys. Halo was like my first like campaign experience for like a console game, and I just got the biggest crush on Master Chief. I was like,
Guys in helmets. I get it. You just can't see the face, and it's just you just like it.
Let her cook. Let her cook. Go on.
So obsessed with Master Chief that I played the campaign like 5 times before I tried anything else on Halo. And I've been like a diehard follower because of Master Chief. So that's like what got me hooked into Halo and like playing it like religiously and being like an Xbox like diehard up until it came to PC, and now I don't care anymore. But I'm still like all about Halo. But yeah, honestly, realistically, that's what got me like hooked on Halo. But as far as like getting into like streaming and content creation, I guess it was such a big part of my life that like I wanted to see what else I could do with it besides just playing it. Because I never watched Twitch or anything, and I didn't watch, like, I still don't watch like Halo YouTube really. I was just like, oh, let's see what else we can do with this. And like, I don't know if I'm like going off on a tangent here, but like when I first started my obsession with Halo and was like, ooh, I love Master Chief, I did not expect that somehow we would end up here. Somehow we would end up here, and that I would literally like meet Steve Downs and like get to like sit next to him, like give him a hug and take a selfie. Like I didn't think that would ever happen, but here we are. So like 12-year-old me would be like tweaking. But
Did you confess your love to Steve Downs?
I was too embarrassed. I didn't say
Yeah,
it.
did you tell him?
Damn
You
it.
didn't tell him that you loved him?
I was too scared.
I'm gonna tell him if he's at Worlds next year. I'm gonna say, did you know Olaf loves you? Like,
Oh my god, I was obsessed. But yeah, I think it's all Master Chief. Really, that's how we got here. So.
what about you, Lottie?
Ooh, so my gaming journey started with my younger brother. He's 2 years younger than me, and we shared consoles. Because I mean, back then, honestly, if you had the luxury, if you had siblings and you all wanted to play video games and you guys had separate consoles, you were living the dream, I'll tell you. Because we were like fighting over who was going next, whose turn it was. We'd be counting turns and deaths and things like that, and it was a brawl almost every single time we were playing. But it was also some of the best years of my life playing with him. And we played Halo 3 together, split screened all the time. We played COD together. I don't know what came first, Halo or COD for me, but I do have vivid memories of playing Halo with my brother. And I just fell in love with it. It was just amazing. And it just feels so good when you're getting in the groove and you're getting your kills and things. And I was a kid, so yeah, it was just really good and a good bonding experience. But that was like how I got into it.
I feel that when you're cooking on, especially when I'm cooking on Halo Infinite, I do not want to stop, and that feeling is so good. So I understand it. Like when you get in the flow state and you're cooking, you just feel like you are on top of the world.
I know. And I just want it to be known. This was not cooking against real people. This was bots. This was grunts. This was not multiplayer at all. This was the campaign, and I was cooking. We'd play Darude Sandstorm, and anytime we'd do really well in the campaign, we'd run around to Darude Sandstorm. It was, some really strange things as children, but you have those moments, and we would get hype for the campaign. But
it's okay. When
we didn't have internet. We didn't have internet, on our box, so it just it was what it was.
When I shoot the bot jackals, I feel pretty cool too.
Oh,
so I get it.
It's a good feeling.
Get it. I feel pretty freaking sweet.
It's a good feeling.
Allie, what about you? What do you what kind of pulled you in?
I just wanted to quickly mention that we should kind of be scared of the jackals on Legendary. Like they're nothing to.
I haven't got there yet.
Yeah, huh?
I said I haven't got to the Legendary section yet. So.
Okay. Get ready then. You should do it. Get ready. How did I get into Halo? I actually had no idea the game existed. My mom was the one who brought the game over, and I just remember looking at it and being like, "What is that?" I just fell in love with it. I was playing the campaign, and I was like, okay, cool. It's like a space shooter, aliens versus humans. But then when that like horror element came in and the flood, that's when I got hooked. There's something about the darkness about that just felt like, no, wait, this is something else. This is something else. After that, I just had to play every single Halo game. And like Lottie, I just played with my brothers. I have 2 brothers, and we would split screen, and we would just spend days, hours, summers just playing the game over and over again, and it was just so addictive. And for me as a creator, I did not start in with Halo, but I always knew that I wanted to shift to that. Been streaming for a while, and I just jumped to other games that I enjoyed. Like, I've always loved shooters and space shooters and horror games, and I was just waiting for the moment. And then when Halo Infinite came out, everybody knew that I was gonna shift over to Halo because it's the game that I grew up playing, and it's the one where my heart is, really.
I love that too. I think that's really cool. You definitely do play a lot of games, a wide variety of games, which I think is cool, and you're good at all of them, which is very admirable. I'm totally just hoping I don't fall off the map half the time. So
I'm falling off the map. I'm falling off the map every day.
Yeah, I fall off the map a lot, but we'll get better at it one day, right? So my next question for like all of you would be, what does it mean to be a woman in the gaming space to you? What does it mean anything to you? I guess that's just the only way that I can word it. What does it mean being a woman in the Halo /gaming space? We'll start with Oath again too.
Oh gosh, I feel like that could be like a really long answer. I mean, I think it's kind of changed over the years because I think back like when I was really young before I got into like online, well, there was like a little bit like I played RuneScape and like World of Warcraft when I was younger and that was online. But I feel like it was really innocent when I was younger. And then once I got into like Xbox Live back in the early 2000s or mid 2000s, that's when I kind of it went from like, 'cause I don't think I thought about like girls in gaming versus boys in gaming. It was just I was just playing games. And then when it got to like, oh, I'm playing like multiplayer games on Xbox, that's when I was introduced to like sexism in gaming.
Yeah.
That's when it became a thing where it was like it was really not cool to be like a girl gamer back in whatever year it was when I was like 12 to 15, 16, 17, 18, whatever. Because around then it was like I had a mic, like the crappy little one with the little fuzzy bit. But I never used it because people would like flame you if you said a word.
Yeah.
So I don't know, it's kind of changed. Like it went from like not really being anything to like a really rude awakening, and then now it's kind of like, I don't know, I feel like if you grew up gaming in that era, like the old like Xbox Live lobbies, it's like it gave you some really tough skin. Because now it's like I'm like streaming, I do stuff on main stage a couple times a year. I get involved with like sponsors and like things way bigger than like just logging on and playing a game online. And I don't know, you get so many people that want to pipe up and give you like shortcomings, like cut your accomplishments short, and it's just like it's just part, unfortunately, of being a woman in gaming. Like I'm a grassroots person. For a long time, I was one of the only people that organized events. And now like a lot more people have started getting into that. So no one used to say anything before, but now that like there's more guys doing it, suddenly like I'm a drop farmer and you know, I get name called. People are like, you're leeching off of this or this grassroots person. You're drops farming. And I'm like, when I was the only one doing this like a year ago, no one cared. But now that there's guys doing it, I'm like a leech. So it's just like, there's always a new obstacle. You're always going to have people like trying to cut down your accomplishments. People are always going to try to pass off your achievements to like whatever male is near you. So like, if you're dating another gamer or a streamer or like you have friends, it's just like things that you have to kind of toughen up to and just kind of overcome constantly. But you got to keep doing it because otherwise other girls don't have role models and people to help them through that. So there's a lot of responsibility involved, but it's fun. You can get through it. So
that's something that I think too, is that there is definitely a lot of responsibility that is involved with kind of having a platform. And something that I know that which I've talked to you obviously about is something that I'm learning, at least with in regards to like people who kind of pipe at you, is like I kind of got to let them chirp in the distance, right? Because at the end of the day, like I can't control what these other people are saying or doing or anything. And at the end of the day too, if somebody kind of believes someone else's words about my character without knowing me, that kind of says more about them than what it does me. So it's definitely like one of those things where like I feel like being a woman in this space, sometimes you are kind of subjected to more I guess we'll say rudeness. I don't really know what I would label it as, but kind of like rudeness or cattiness or just kind of downright pettiness just because you're kind of existing in the space. So I definitely can understand all of that too. You did bring up something really interesting though that I do want to ask both you and Lottie, because I feel like that this would kind of pertain and make sense. You mentioned that sometimes it's very hard to kind of do something that like you know you do yourself, but someone is so quickly to kind of pass it off to a male or someone that you're dating. So like, have either one of you ever been in a situation in this space where someone's like, oh, she only got that because she's dating Snakebite, or oh, she only did this because she's with Uber Nick, instead of like, you know, kind of writing off and just kind of being like, yo, like they both work their butts off to kind of make the connections and do what they do. It doesn't matter who their partner is, because even if you weren't with that person, you probably would still get those same gigs. So I'm just wondering if that kind of comes up for you two a lot, just because, you know, you both are like openly in relationships with other people who are involved in the Halo community.
Hey, Lottie, you want to go first on that?
I can if you want. Yes, massively. It actually affected the first year of our relationship a lot, only because we decided to basically have a secret relationship for the first year, so that it wouldn't be that way for me. I was receiving a lot of difficult comments without people knowing that anyway. I mean, oh gosh, I mean, how long have you got? Because it is it is rough. I think being a female content creator is rough. I think any way you look at it in gaming and in esports, it is a really difficult thing to do. You gotta have thick skin, I'll tell you that much. But it's got to a point now where I have even told my parents to never ever open Twitch chat. Like, that little button at the bottom is, you do not do it. You do not watch. If that is on, you must minimize chat always and then watch. Because it is just bad. I mean, I will question, you know, what I'm doing there, my like knowledge, you know, I'm there for body parts, and why are those body parts not out? Because let's be honest, that's why I'm here. Just a lot of really difficult things to hear. And I knew when it came to my relationship with PJ that it was only going to get worse. And it did. It did. I had a lot of, not just in the chat, but a lot of tweets, and I have a lot of blocks now. My block list is fat. It is big, and I'm proud of it, honestly. And it keeps my timeline so clean, and I love that. Please never get rid of that feature, Twitter, please. But yeah, a lot of really horrible things were said. But it's funny because I actually established myself as a pretty successful esports desk host. I had hosted 2 AAA titles by that time. And quite frankly, I pursued him. And, you know, he, like, there's nothing to do with my job and that. A lot of people don't see it. But
she knew what she wanted and she got it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's one of those things that you just have to block it out. It's difficult, but it's just something I've got used to. And yeah, I think people with any bit of logic or history on my career would know that really that it's irrelevant. So yeah, it's annoying, but it's something I deal with a lot. So
Yeah. What about you? Yeah. What about you, Oath?
Tell your truth.
Definitely. I mean, I would like, it's not like you don't get any when you're not dating anyone, because like there's really no winning. I've gotten shit when I was single. I've gotten shit when I was dating someone who like wasn't in the gaming scene, and then obviously I get shit dating someone who is. Yeah. Getting heck. Sorry.
No, you're fine. You're
to
fine.
keep it clean. But yeah, especially with Nick, and it's like one thing that I think I've come to realize, especially as I've like kind of grown in the scene and gotten older just as a person and more mature, is like there's a lot of unhinged people online, and not like people just say stuff. They just say stuff and they don't know what they're talking about. And you just cannot let every little thing bother you. Like, people who have been keeping up with me know my history, know what I'm about. But, you know, there's always like Nick and I have been friends long before we dated. Like, I think I met him like a year after I started streaming. And we didn't start dating until like a few years ago. So we've been friends for a long time. And of course, once we started dating, I get people who are like, oh, you're using him for clout. You're dating him for clout. Like, you're just dating him to get views. And it's like, I got into Grassroots before we dated. I got partnered. Well, actually, I might have gotten partnered on Twitch like a little after. I can't remember when I got partnered. But I got affiliated before we dated. I grew my following before we dated. I grew my Twitter before we dated. Like, it's not correlating. It's just something that happens. But yeah, and people like to attack your relationships, especially if you're both like, I don't like to say public figures because this is a very niche spot on the internet, but you know, where we stream and stuff. But yeah, absolutely. Or I think, oh my God, I don't want to give this person away, but I've also definitely had things where people kind of like completely not like I don't expect people to know who I am at all. And I know that Nick is a more recognizable name than mine because he's got like a massive YouTube following. He has TikTok and all that. I don't do all that stuff. But I think one of the times that I like was like, damn, like this one's rough was I was at an event talking to another person who's like kind of notable in the community for a completely different thing. And I coincidentally ended up like being next to them during travel, and they said something like, "Oh, I'll add you to this thing. I'll tell them you're Uber Nick's girlfriend." And like, "Oh, you got on main stage? I'm sure that happens all the time because of Nick." Or like they were saying stuff like that. I was like, "Do you know that I like am a partner and like stream too?" Like I didn't say that. I was just kind of like, let's see like what they say. But they kept being like, "Oh yeah, you're Uber Nick's girlfriend. Like I'll tell them." Or like, "Oh, you're Uber Nick's girlfriend, so you probably get this all the time, and that's why you get this and that." And I was like, I can't tell. Like, do you know my tag? Like, do you know that I also like am in these groups because like I got in there?
Right.
Like stuff like that will happen, and I'm like, I'm just not even gonna say anything. Like, but it happens more often than you think.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It probably happens more often. What about you, ALYEK? Have you ever had like any kind of, I guess, anybody treat you differently just because you're a woman or like a woman simply existing in this space, like kind of doing content and getting into like desk hosting and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, just listening to you two, things just started to pop up for me. I think when I came into if we're talking specifically Halo space, when I came into the Halo space, I already had like my established community where I brought them over to the Halo directory. So initially it felt like I still had my community, and I made sure that my community was a space where where we all could. It was a safe space, if you could call it that.
Yeah.
So when I went to my first event, I almost felt like now my community isn't going to Halo events because they're from all over the world and they play different things. So going to my first event, I felt like I was like the new girl in school, and then everybody was just like, it just felt I felt like people were starting to like, who was gonna get their chance with the new girl, and I started getting different messages and DMs and like, "Oh, I saw you standing to this person. Are you dating?" I didn't want to interrupt you talking to this person, and they were just trying to find out if I was dating anybody for some reason, and it was just so uncomfortable to like, I'm not here for any of those reasons. I'm here to be a content creator. I'm here to work, to watch an event, and it's just hard to navigate when you have to be so careful with who you talk to and who you're surrounded by because of the things that they'll just start saying. But then that's the part where you as a creator and as a streamer or personality in this specific space has to be good at not caring. And it's like what I call the art of being unbothered by all of these comments. And it's just a minute thing that happened to me when I started being in this space. But I think as I grew in this space, then it became more of a I'm looking for the right words to say this. Maybe it might not be the right time.
Totally understandable.
Yeah, I think it's hard to know when somebody is talking to you because they genuinely want to work with you, or they genuinely want to
think you're attractive or something.
Yeah, or if it's because they want to get something from me, which is sometimes it is the case, and I found out it is the case, and and then it's like, okay, now it's really awkward because I just want to work with people. I just want to create normal work relationships with the people I'm surrounded by. So I think those are the struggles that I have had personally in the space, specifically in the Halo space. Because I've been going to so many in-person events, and it's just practicing the art of being unbothered and navigating through all of the new challenges that you encounter as you grow in this space and as you navigate new areas of your job, of your
I agree
your
with
career.
that too. Something too that that like I think is like, you know, I think a lot of women kind of struggle with sometimes, not even just in this career field, but just as a generalization, is I have a very hard time with sometimes when people approach me, specifically men in this space or anything, I have a hard time with how I respond, because I feel like with being a woman, if I respond in a way where I'm kind of standing up for myself, then I'm a bitch. But if I respond in a way where I'm too nice, well, then I'm flirting. And if I respond in a way where I'm just kind of like, no, then it's like you're standoffish and like stuff like that. So I feel like sometimes like it's kind of hard to navigate even something as simple as like responding to a question from somebody, just because you never really know. Like if I say like, oh, you know, like someone invites me out for dinner at an event and I say, you know what, no, I'm really not interested, thank you, you know, then I don't know if they're going to necessarily be upset by that or something. So I definitely see why that can kind of be like a thing for other women too. I will say too, at my first Halo event, I had some people who did not know that I was dating someone, which usually I plotted this seed, right? When I first started streaming, I decided to make all of the community love my boyfriend more than they loved me. So that way they wouldn't hit on me. They just got to think that my boyfriend was cute and hit on him instead. So that's kind of what I did. But there are some people who don't really know. So, without no names or anything, making it as bland as possible, at World, somebody approached me and basically was like, hey, can I buy you a drink? I think you're really cute. And I just kind of had to be like, oh, I appreciate that, but like I'm not really here to get a drink with anybody. One, I don't really drink. I don't drink at all, to be honest, but I'm not really here to kind of be romantic with anybody. I'm kind of here to do a job or to excel in a job. So I definitely think that you bringing that up is very interesting too, because that just kind of makes me understand more that it doesn't really it happens to everybody, you know. It's not just kind of like a singled out thing. So and you all talked about too, like dealing with online hate and negativity and how you combat it is essentially just like turning it off. So is there any other like words of advice that you would give any new creator or anybody who's just starting out, who kind of deals with not being able to turn it off, I guess, and just kind of not be bothered by what people on the internet are saying? Is there anything that you could offer up, I guess, as advice for them? Asking for myself. Oath, you go first.
I think you and I have actually had this talk at least once.
Oh, for sure.
So this will sound a little familiar to you. Biggest mistake I made as like a young streamer was I wanted to be like everyone's best friend. Like not, I didn't want to like network with other creators. I'm talking about like viewers. Like I thought, because, you know, I started out like from nothing. So I'm from like 0 viewers to however many viewers very slowly. So I was like, oh, I'm going to be like every viewer's like best friend. Like I'm going to DM them and I'll talk to them and I'll game with them. Not sustainable. Unless you want to stay at like 5 viewers, you can probably maintain that. Once you start going 20 and up and higher, you're not like, you're gonna burn out so quick. So that almost all of the big dramas that I had in my little community when I was like a younger streamer came from that. It was like, long story short, probably, and this repeated on some level with like 5 different dudes, but the one in particular I'm thinking of, it was always some variation. This is just a good example of I was starting to get to that point where like I had a lot more viewers, I'd grown a lot, and I was still trying to be really active in my Discord, and if anyone DM'd me, I would still like answer them, and like I was very much trying to be buddies with a lot of my viewers, but I was also like kind of starting to be like, okay, this is kind of tiring, like I can't be everyone's therapist, I can't be everyone's best friend, I can't game with all, like I still have like college and work, and like, so it was always some variation. And in this particular case, it was like this person had gifted a lot of bits, a lot of subs. They donated like a decent amount. and at some point I guess decided that they weren't getting their money's worth, in the sense that they, I wasn't gaming offline with them enough after stream. I wasn't DMing them enough. I wasn't excited enough when I was talking to them. I wasn't like pouring enough attention into them specifically. Or I'd modded someone who like hadn't been around as long as them. So that, with this person in particular, turned into them grabbing 3 other dudes who had also been donating and felt the same way, and like going out of their way to slander me as much as possible, going into other people's chats being like, Oath is a gold digger, she's a bunch of curse words I shouldn't say on a stream.
Yeah.
This, that, the other, and really kind of might start barking in a second. He sees something. But really like going out of their way to try and like tear my stream down as much as possible and my reputation. Why? Because they wanted personal time with me. And the reason I know that this is a woman exclusive problem is because they were also like doing the same thing to a male streamer that I was close with. And they were fine. That issue never arose with the guy. It was only an issue with me, I assume, because I'm a woman. So don't try to be long story short, the advice, don't try to be everyone's best friend. You don't have to know every single one of your viewers on a super personal, intimate level. It's not maintainable. It's not realistic. It's not healthy. They're going to get parasocial. Not everyone, guys, not all of you, but some people will get parasocial. It's going to be exhausting. You're going to burn out. It's going to make Twitch feel like not a safe place. It's going to take the fun out of it. So like, be friendly with your viewers. Ask them how their day is. You can learn tidbits about all of them, but like, they have their own lives. You have your own life. And you need to set like clear boundaries. And like, once you turn the stream off, you don't need to put any more into it. Once you turn the stream off, that's it. Like, go about your life. You don't need to then like check up on 30 dudes who are like, I want to now have a personal Discord call with you.
Right.
No, if that's like a Patreon thing you're doing where you're like, I'll Discord call you if you're like a tier 3 Patreon, like that's fine. But don't spread yourself thin like that. It's a terrible, terrible idea. So don't do that.
Before Lottie answers too, I do want to say something for everybody who's listening too. If you gift a streamer or a creator or anything, just basically like a streamer doesn't owe you shit, respectfully. If you're gifting them or if you're giving them subs and stuff like that, that doesn't mean that you're really entitled to that person's time. And I definitely do see, I've had a situation like that too, where somebody wanted to kind of game with me offline and stuff like that. And I personally have very bad anxiety about being on a mic with people that I don't know. I know that a lot of people who've been on Xbox for a while, it's kind of like a normal thing for you to just kind of like join someone's Xbox party if you see them on, and say what's up. Like if someone does that to me, it genuinely gives me anxiety. So I typically don't really play with people unless I know them off of stream, right? And I had someone who was kind of a gifter who kind of got upset at me because I wasn't playing with them off of stream and kind of made me feel like that they felt like they were entitled to more of my time outside of like streaming than that I was already giving. And I don't think that sometimes people really understand that how much energy streaming really can take out of a person. Especially it's like you think that like having a conversation, like if you ever have one of those days where you just can't even stomach up feeling like you want to have a conversation with somebody because you're so tired. Well, think about doing that, but having a conversation with like 15 other people at once. Like that's kind of what streaming is. So there are some times where you just want to like turn it off and not kind of have to deal with that. But I've definitely been in a situation with that too. So to circle that up, like nobody owes you anything if you watch them. If you watch them, like we appreciate all of the subs, the gifts, and the donos, and all of that things. Like those are absolutely incredible, and they keep you going as a streamer. And they help some of us pay our bills, which is absolutely phenomenal. But at the end of the day, like if you do that, like we don't really have to give you more than what goes beyond the stream, and we're not expected to, unless it's like stated otherwise. I'm sure there's other people out there that whatever they do is on them, but not everybody's like that. So I can understand that. What about you, Lottie? Do you have like any advice for anybody who's like kind of just starting out or like dipping their toes, we'll say like in esports in general?
Yeah. By the way, great advice, and definitely a huge piece of advice on the streaming side. I think on my side, it comes from more of a kind of I don't know. It's hard because I do have different experiences from you guys, so I'm going to try and put it my perspective
Right.
on this with my advice. So some of mine is in person also, and I'll get to that portion in a second because there might be women who do struggle with in person moments, and those can actually sometimes be tougher because it's not really like a screen you can hide behind or just
Yeah.
turn a switch off. When panic mode kind of ensues. But I think for the actual comment part, I would just remember that these people who are saying awful things must have miserable lives. So that's number one, is to not let it sink too deep. I know it can be really tough, but just to sometimes just check yourself a little bit and be like, right, like they are just trying to get a reaction from you. And I'm coming from a deeper level here of like, you are good. I promise you that these people are trying to get a reaction from you. You are absolutely fine. You keep doing you. Do not change a thing about yourself. If you are having fun, if your community are having fun, and there are terrible trolls who come in, or whether it's on Twitter, etc., they are having a miserable time, and they're trying to bring you down with them. And I need you to remember that, because honestly, I would go as far as saying 90% of the time that is the case. That really is the case.
It truly is.
And it's sad. It's extremely sad that people do want to drag you down with them. So remember that, because it's always going to be important. And if you want to pursue, I think, a career or just a hobby within esports, whether that's streaming, whether that's anything to do with esports, production, actual physically gaming, whatever it may be, I think that's something that you're going to have to kind of deal with. I really do hope it goes away at some point, or it gets a hell of a lot better. But for now, just to remember who you are and stay true to that, and not change for anybody at all. So another part of my job is I do get a lot of in-person stuff, and I think having a support system is really crucial. Whether that be your family, whether that be friends, whether that be colleagues. I truly couldn't do what I do without some of my friends and colleagues that are around me. I mean, I've had some terrible things happen to me on show. I've had my 2 security guards in one event last year both hit on me to the point where I felt like I couldn't even breathe or move. And if it wasn't for my friendship with Wes and the rest of my desk, and knowing that they have my back 100%, I told them, and they immediately got it sorted for me. And there was a small part of me who wanted to just kind of go into a small corner, a dark corner, and just forget about it and just be like, this isn't happening. I can deal with this. It's okay. And it's not okay. It is not okay to feel uncomfortable at any point in time. So speak up about it. I know that can also be hard. And I've been there, done that, and I've done the latter before and not spoken up. And trust me, it's not worth it. So if you can find it in yourself to go to your support system, ask for help, talk about it, try and resolve it, I promise you it will feel a lot better to be able to do that, even though it's really, really scary at the time. So yeah, that's my bit of advice, is to just remember how wonderful you are, how miserable they are. And if you are having something happen that is really uncomfortable and it consists of constant harassment, please speak up and go to people that you trust. So that would be my advice.
I think that's all like incredible advice too. And I both of the advice that you guys have given has been phenomenal too. And I hope that everybody else feels that way who's also listening. What about you, ALYEK? What do you think is like some advice that you would give new creators, or just like women who are like kind of entering this space or want to enter this space?
Yeah, I think I wanted to continue on what Oath was talking about, when the mistake that she learned from. I think coming into the gaming space, I was already I tend to over prepare for everything that I do in life. So when I came in to streaming, I knew what I was going to do in a way. Like I knew how to protect myself on online, or I thought I did, but I took every single measure that I could think of. And even still then, I trying to prevent parasocial relationships, all of that. Something that I wish I would have done better from the beginning as a content creator was to no, I mean, when you start, you have to, you'll slowly learn, but no, when I was too friendly. I was way too friendly with people who were saying things that they were not supposed to be saying. I was afraid of speaking up in my own stream. I didn't understand that other viewers were also uncomfortable with that specific person or the comments that they were saying. And the more I streamed, the more I realized that we were all feeling uncomfortable, not just me. So when you start your own space, make sure that you are eliminating. That sounds very aggressive, but like removing people from your communities make you uncomfortable, because I promise you, you're not the only one feeling uncomfortable in that space. So I feel like if you start doing that from the very beginning, the space that you will continue growing is going to be so much better for you and for your entire community. I think that would be the best way I can continue on what Oath was talking about, and it'll prevent also from the creepy people that pop up on the content creator space. Oh, he's back.
Is she back? Is she back? I was like, oh, hold on. Are we losing her for a second? I can't hear her.
I hear
in
you
this one.
guys.
There
Give
we
me
go.
one
There
There
we go.
she is.
There you
Yeah,
are.
I don't know what's going on with my camera. I see it on my end, but I don't see it up there. So I'm not sure if it popped up there for me. So I'm gonna give it 1 second, you guys. I'm talking to the
coming back.
producer.
She's coming
Yeah.
back. She's coming back.
I'm
She's coming
talking to the producer really
Okay.
quickly, and we are going to figure it out.
No problem. Can I just say, girlies, it honestly does like kind of break my heart by the way that we have been through a lot already.
Yes.
But it's such a universal experience.
It really is. And
'Cause
I honestly
guarantee you
love
any of the
talking
girls up
about
here
it.
too.
It's important to talk about it. Because some people might not know actually, you know, like, you know, you two being some people's favorite creators, especially in Halo, like you're big names to them. And girls might be going through things and not realizing that you've been through the same thing. And it's like, yeah, I think it's important that we talk about it, even
I
though it's
agree.
hard.
That's what I think too. Is I think that's kind of why I wanted to start Ladies Night, was just because I noticed, and I don't know if it's like, I'm sure that this kind of happens in other fields, in game fields too, right? Not just games, but like other career fields, as I've noticed that sometimes I definitely do get treated differently because I'm a woman. And I've noticed that sometimes I see it happening to other women in the scene. And I've specifically like how Lottie said earlier, like Twitch chat, right? Like we've all been in a Twitch chat where we see someone, like as soon as a woman comes on the broadcast, like you see the comments come up, you see people make comments about their body, you see people make comments about, you know, how they sound or what, you know, all these different things and stuff like that. And I think that something that pushed me to do this is the fact that the reason why I want to talk about it is so much because I want other people to kind of understand how it feels being on the receiving end of that, because unless we kind of share it and tell people, you know, like, hey, like you guys kind of say some things in the comments that like make us all feel there it was, the F-bomb, but make us all feel freaking weird. You know what I mean? So like, I think that it's really important to talk about it. I really do. So, and I think that it's not only important for us to talk about it, but I think it's important to also hear about it happening to, like, it's horrible that it happens to people, but I think that from like a viewer, I'll say a viewer perspective or something, or somebody who is, you know, trying to get to where all of you are, it's important for people like me to hear that you guys also have gone through these experiences, so that way I can learn from them and know, like, it's not just a targeted on me type of thing. It's not like, you know, I don't feel weird because I'm trying to tell someone to not talk to me a certain way, and I'm not a bad person or bitchy or whatever for telling someone like, hey, you know what, like, this is my boundary and like you're kind of crossing it right now. So I think that like this is really, really, really important to not only me to kind of hear this, but for all of the people that are watching, just because they can all hopefully learn from this experience from everybody too, right? So like I do agree. I think talking about it is like it's probably like a really good step into kind of changing and shifting the energies in the scene. But we have talked about kind of a little bit of neggy Nancy stuff now, negative Nancy stuff. So I want to move on to something like good. And I want each one of you to kind of, we're going to go down the line, and I just want each one of you to tell me something that you've done that you're proud about. I want to hear about what your proudest accomplishment is so far in the gaming or Halo space. I really want everybody to know too, because I think it's also important that not only do we talk about these issues, but I want to make sure that we talk about you three in like a positive way. I want everybody to know what else you're doing. I want everybody to know like your projects and all that too. So we'll go down the line, and I'll start with Allie this time. What is the something that you're very proud about that you've recently accomplished?
Yeah, I feel like one of the highlights for me last year was definitely as a Halo fan, was just being able to be a part of not just the main stage event at Worlds, but as a player and as a content creator, that felt like such a huge accomplishment for myself. But also being able to be a part of the content creator panels, I think was really special to me. Being able to share my experience and just being able to like be a part of that, it's very special to me. As a creator, also, I think having opportunities with companies and video game companies where they actually pay you for your work it was and has been very special to me. So I think those are the highlights for me from last year.
Because you just went to the Halo premiere too, didn't you?
Yes,
That's so cool.
the Halo season. I know. I could not believe that I had just moved to LA, so having that happen within less than a year to me was so special and so crazy. It was definitely. Thank you for reminding me of that.
That was obviously so cool. I like saw your pictures and I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, she looks great. This is
I was
awesome.
freaking out. I was trying to maintain my composure to not look like a mega crazy fan, but just trying to be professional in the space. I was definitely want to thank you, because yes, that was a very memorable one for me, indeed.
It's definitely cool to watch you go out there and kick ass like that too. That was totally cool to see. I was like, she's at the premiere. That was awesome. Lottie, what about you? What is something that like you are proud, or like one of your proudest accomplishments?
So it's probably got to be the consistency that I've kept in my career, and to just continue to strive to be better than before. I think it can be easy to, this is not a brag whatsoever, but to get to almost the top of your game, and I consider what I do the top of my game, and to just kind of be like, cool, done that, and not really try anymore and be like too comfortable, and to really just continue to want to be better and to never give up that hunger to be better. I'm really proud that I've continued to do that since 2018, consistently been the desk host for Halo across 2 different titles across multiple years now. And also have done 2 AAA titles as a desk host. I think I'm always forever going to be proud of that, while also keeping up appearances in Call of Duty League when I can in between the Halo season. So last year, being able to do champs was a dream come true with COD. And I have some fun projects.
Too, weren't you?
Yes, I did the launch of the new game. And
That's
I
cool.
also did Code Bowl as well for my 2nd year in a row. And I actually did the Call of Duty champs. I was an interviewer and reporter for them as well at their official CDL season end. So I was really happy that I could balance that and keep up appearances in both, while they're also considered really competitors in the FPS world, which is kind of strange how that's happened. But it makes me very happy, because it's 2 loves of my life. And being able to kind of balance those means a lot to me. So yeah, it's been really cool. I've got some really fun stuff coming up with COD as well this year, and of course doing the Halo season. But yeah, I'm just really proud of I guess the consistency, and I'm still trying to work really hard at what I do and be better than the year before.
But still, I mean, two AAA titles, that's like that's something that, toot your own horn about that. If you don't, I'll toot it for you. I think that's incredible. That's so cool. Like I said, I literally saw you on the broadcast and I was like, who is she? I gotta meet her. Like I knew, like I told my boyfriend, I was like, yo, she's so badass. She's doing this. So like when I found out too that you did multiple titles besides just Halo, I thought that was even cooler because I was like, yo, I can barely manage to like keep up with one of these, and like the roster mania and the players that's happening with just like HCS, and I believe the CDL is a lot bigger than what HCS is. So like being able to keep up with all of that, because I'm sure that you have to do, you know, you have to do your, I don't think people know that when you desk host and stuff like that, like it's not just you sitting behind a desk and like looking pretty. Like you're writing your own scripts, you're writing what you're doing your due diligence, you're going out, you're researching these players and stuff, and like it's more than just sitting there and looking pretty. So the fact that you are able to like keep up with 2 titles while doing that that's like hats off to you, because I don't even know how I'd be able to. I just don't know.
Thank you. That means a lot to me. Yeah,
So
it's
that's
a lot
incredible.
more than just standing there on the desk. I'll give you that much.
Definitely,
Without
definitely
boring
is.
everyone to death about the stuff that goes into it. It is a lot, but I'm very privileged and honored. So.
We definitely love watching you behind the desk too. I think that's awesome. And then Oath, what about you? What has been like a major accomplishment for you that you're really proud of?
Kind of a few things. I mean, like, kind of everything that I've gotten done, I guess, overall. Like, I didn't start streaming with the intention of it being anything. I just did it because I was like, oh, like, this looks like it might be fun to do. I didn't have a plan or think, like, I want to make money off of this, or I want to, like, you know, make, like, basically a job out of it. I just started doing it, so I didn't know it would get here. But I guess kind of like what Lottie said, consistency, because I think a lot of people think I'm full-time. I am not full-time. I am a very busy person. I don't really know how to be chill.
You have a full-time job though, not to cut
I
you
have
off
a
though, right?
demanding
But you have, like,
career.
yeah, you have a very. Are we allowed to ask what you do for work? Like, are you allowed to share like a title or anything with us? If you don't want to, it's totally fine.
I'm a designer. On that's a whole other conversation to try to describe what I do.
It's a lot. We'll just say it that. Like, she does
I needed
lot.
a 5-year degree to do it.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know how to like be chill and like do things kind of half-assed. So like, I got into streaming and I have been streaming on a consistent schedule since 2016, through college, basically my entire college time. And then into, like, even when I traveled for school and I was out of the country, I still streamed. I brought my laptop with me, into starting my career. Now I'm 4 years into my career. So it's like, I just don't know how to chill out. So my schedule is like when I say my days are full, like I work 9 hours a day. I have that guy.
That sweet baby boy.
Who demands a lot of training and exercise and attention every day.
Don't forget about the other dog too, Nick.
Not the other one. I have my stream. Once I joined Grassroots, I started like, okay, now I'm doing like event organization with them and like other content stuff. There's a lot of back-end stuff with streaming besides just going live. So I guess just keeping that up for this time and getting as far as I have as it being like a hobby and not my full-time gig, and just staying consistent and like true to it, even like through different phases and like busy levels of my life.
Yeah.
And then the other big thing I would say is like, I have like horrible social anxiety, and it has gotten so much better through my streaming career. So like, God, if you saw me in college giving a presentation in front of a class of people that I know very well, you would think I was insane, because I like, even if I know I've been working on this for a month, I know exactly what I'm presenting, I like can't speak because my throat closes up. I start like shaking. I feel like I'm gonna pass out. Like,
mine's the
crackhead energy.
Mine's the comes out when I get nervous.
Yeah,
and I speak.
I am stuttering. I don't know how to speak words. Like, it's terrible. So going from that to the last event I was at, Seattle, I was on with ALYEK, a creator panel, doing like sitting in front of like a live audience with like all the lights, which is like my worst nightmare.
Lights
Like
are
lights
bright, too.
on, lights in your face, people in
hot.
person. It's hot. They're staring at you. They're just sitting there like, okay, talk. And I'm like, given I do have anxiety medication that I occasionally use for such situations,
Yep.
but like the fact that I could get through that and wasn't like shaking and nauseous and sweating was like a big deal. And like being on main stage several times, like that used to terrify me. Now when I go up there, I'm like, hey guys, we're doing this again. Like it's just that progression from like, I can't even tell my friends what my project's about without like passing out to, yeah, I can sit on a creator panel for an hour and talk about myself. Like somehow we got there. So that's like a big one, I think.
That's awesome. So the last thing that I kind of want to ask all of you is if there's anything that you're working on or anything that you're looking forward to that you kind of want to share with us. If there's anything there, anything like that you want to share. We'll start with ALYEK first.
Yeah, I mean, this last year, I like we were just talking about how I started hosting with LVT, and I think one of my goals last year was that I just wanted to expand my skills. I just wanted to learn new things. I was just craving something new. And in addition to content creator, before they start saying she's quitting streaming, no, that's not it. I'm just adding to what I do. I'm just adding to what I do. I think this year is going to be a year of new things for me, and I am just grateful that I even started working with LVT, because it gives me the opportunity to keep working on that new thing that I was craving on working. So for me, it's more of a, I mean, with content creation, you never know what's going to be around the corner. It's just, I can't, there's things I wish I could say that I can't say. But you never know what's going to be around the corner, what your next month is going to look like as a content creator. There could be surprises. You could be somewhere where you didn't know you were going to go. And I'm just excited to continue working on this new skill set. And something I was really proud about was that, like, being able to work with LVT and working through my fears of doing such a crazy job like that. I admire Lottie so much also for what she does, and it's such a difficult job, and it's so stressful, and I just cannot wait to continue growing in that and whatever awaits me this year and the next.
It's so exciting too. Hopefully too, I'm manifesting, land for you as well. And, hopefully we can see you, around some HCS events too and stuff like that in the future, which would be really cool too, because then all of us can sit here and say, yo, we saw that happen. And I personally think that's the coolest thing, is when you see somebody like, I want to do this, and then you see them try it, and then you see them keep trying it, and then you see them succeed. I think that is like the coolest thing ever. I personally love watching people grow. So I really hope that, we get to continue, and you get to continue sharing it with us, and we can watch you grow. It's been absolutely incredible. And Lottie, what about you? Do you have anything that like you're looking forward to, or anything you can share? I know that you do have the podcast with Snakebite, if you want to talk about that at all too.
Yeah, first of all, ALYEK, it's not easy to do, but well done, because you just jumped straight into it, and honestly, I think your natural ability to carry a conversation definitely shines through, so well done for that. It's very, very impressive. I just wanted to let you know. For me, we do have a podcast, and PJ's literally just getting rid of his chest infection. I'm going to put our second episode out this season very soon, so I'm really excited about that. But yeah, podcast is back, so just love doing that with PJ. He brings such a cool perspective for me to talk about the season with, and yeah, it's really, really cool. So if you guys do crave a little bit more content in terms of, I don't know, analysis and what a pro player thinks, then that's definitely a really good start. I'm just really excited about the season starting. I have been craving this. The off season was way too long. I just want to get back up there. I want to see some gameplay. I want to know what's going to happen. So yeah, I'm very, very excited that we're starting back up again. And I literally fly a week today to the major.
Yeah, 1 week.
Buzzing, just absolutely buzzing. And then I guess my last thing that I'm really excited about is I am getting married this year.
Whee!
And I am so excited because it's been a long time coming. It's been a long time coming. He proposed to me in 2021. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so now it's time.
It is time. So we're 6 months out, and I'm very excited, very stressed, but very excited about it. So yeah, I've got a lot going on this year, and balancing it is going to be challenging, and it has been challenging so far. And we haven't even really started our season, so cross your fingers for me, guys, because I think I'm going to need some luck with it. But yeah,
A wedding and HCS
excited.
season seems very like a lot.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, that seems like a lot.
It's a lot. It was very difficult to like pinpoint a date, to be honest with you. I had many phone
gosh.
calls with Halo, and they
Yeah.
were beyond amazing with kind of assisting me and things.
That's
So
awesome.
they were absolutely incredible because I'd waited quite a few years to do it so that we didn't clash with anything. But yeah, just can't wait. Yeah, so
That's
excited.
Something too, I want to just make sure chat knows that all of these ladies have their own command right now in chat. So if you do the command with their name, then you'll get all of their social links and Twitch channels, Twitter. I have for Lottie, I believe I also have the 2 Times podcast on there as well. So if you are, wanting to check any of them out, please do that command in chat. And I'm going to encourage you all to follow these 3 and interact with them and kind of get to know them more outside of just this interview. So it's all in there for you if you do want to follow them. So, and Oath, what is one thing? Wait, did I already ask you this? What's one thing that you're proud about? Oh, okay. So what are you proud about, or something that like you're looking forward to? That was the question, right? Something you were looking forward to? I think that's what it was.
Yeah. Well, I wish I had more time in the day because there's so many things that I want to get started and I just like can't. Like, I'm sorry guys, I tried to do a Halo YouTube channel. I'm just not a
YouTube's
Halo
a lot.
YouTuber. I'm
Yeah,
just
YouTube's a lot.
not. I don't have idea. Like, I'll stream Halo all day, dude. But making a Halo YouTube video, like, you can't squeeze an idea out of me. I have wanted to make a horror YouTube channel for years, and I still really want to. And I've wanted to start a podcast with my friend Zarina, who is a VTuber on Twitch, and
She's hilarious, by the way.
she's amazing. And
She's
I'm
just
actually
hilarious.
moving in like a month, and we're gonna be living close to each other. So I'm not promising anything because every time I say this, my life gets crazy and I can't. But if there is room in the forecast, I would love to start working on either of those things. But as far as things I know is going on, I will still be streaming. I will still be organizing. My goal, and I've hit it every month so far this year, is to do 3 grassroots events of my organization every month. So far we're hitting that. And then unfortunately, because I'm moving, I'm missing the first 2 Halo events. They're just like right before and right after, and I just can't do it. I just can't. So I plan to be at Atlanta, HCS Atlanta, and Seattle.
Perfect. And Worlds,
I'll be there.
right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, Seattle's World. I
you
assume
said
it'll be
Seattle.
Seattle.
I'm so sorry. I was like, wait, she forgot Worlds.
Worlds for sure, and then hopefully Atlanta. I'd love to make Salt Lake City, but I don't know if that'll happen. So hopefully looking forward to doing more stuff with 343 and Halo. But yeah, just more drops events, more grassroots events, more streams. And if somewhere there is room for me to work on these passion projects, then great. But we'll see. We'll see. It's
Awesome.
busy.
I have heard you too. This is the second time I've heard you bring up having a horror, or like I think you said
I want to
crime
so
last
bad,
time.
but I'm so
Yeah,
busy.
so I'm gonna keep throwing that in your ear randomly. Sometimes I might just like shoot you a message that's like, hey, remember this? Because I think that you would do really, really good at that too. And something that I think that I at least got caught up at when I first started was feeling like I needed to focus on specifically one thing all the time. So I like hyper focused on just that. And then I like realized I'm like, wait, but I like so many other things that people might like too. So like I definitely think that you should go for that. We did have a really interesting question in chat that I kind of want to ask all of you before we close it out though. The question on the panel was from Jasmef. They said, was there any woman in the space you all looked up to when you were starting out? My answers straight up are the first woman streamer that I ever saw was Oath. I saw her because my boyfriend told me to look her up because he watched Uber Nick. And I said that I wanted to learn how to stream, and he said, you should look her up. She does this, and he didn't really know much about the scene or anything. It was just those were the first people that popped up, when you came on the Halo directory. So mine was Oath, and then as far as like desk hosting, it was Lottie. I saw Lottie do, the desk hosting gig, and I thought she looked so badass, and I was like, I want to do this. So those were my 2 personally. What about you, ALYEK? Do you have anyone that like, or any specific woman that you saw that you're like, I kind of want to do this too?
I'm trying to recall who I know the first streamer I watched. I believe her name was Naomi. I'm not sure if she still streams, but I just randomly stumbled upon. This is the reason I stream on Twitch, by the way. I randomly stumbled upon a horror stream because, like Oath, I also love horror games. We should play one soon, by the way. We played Phasmo once, which was really fun.
Obsessed with horror, by the way. Obsessed.
Yeah.
I'm down.
Okay, so when is this happening? So she was playing Resident Evil, and I just remember being like, wait, I love horror games. I love entertaining people. And can I do this? I heard him, I believe was Naomi. And honestly, for desk hosting, when I started getting interested in it, I mean, who else other than Lottie to look up to? She's amazing. And also being able to attend Halo events. I mean, who else am I going to look up to? She's right there, like a shining star right in front of us. It's you, Lottie. So those are my current two. I feel like there's so many other women in not just the Halo space, but like the content creator space to look up to as well. So there could be many names, but there's so much talent in the Halo space, and I just can't wait to see all of the women in the space, and also everybody that has this talent to just grow, because there's so much talent. Oh my God. Okay,
There's
that's it.
definitely, I think a lot of talent in the Halo space. I definitely think too, the more that I'm meeting more people and the more that I'm talking to people, I'm kind of learning more and more about other like creators and people in the space and how talented they are in the other things they do, not just with Halo, but like outside of Halo. And that's honestly really incredible. Also, shout out to Shurzy in the chat. I think Tools was in there too. Absolutely incredible. Thank you all so much. It means a lot to have you all stop by. And I do want to just say with everybody, I do have alerts off, sound alerts for the stream. I do see you all. I see the subs. I see the hype trains that go in and the follows and stuff like that. And I do want to say thank you. So Game Crazy John, thank you so much for the 5 gifted. Hi Guy, thank you for the 10. Clayton, thank you for the gifted. You did a couple gifted. Tyra, thank you for the gifted too. Tyra Snipes, an incredible female player. Dragonic, thank you so much. Sarah, like so many of you on here, absolutely incredible. Thank you so much for all of the love that you're showing today as well. And then Oath, do you have anybody, anybody that you like kind of looked up to when you first started?
If we're talking about like first started with gaming, I want to say no. Because this was like, again, back when I was like 10, 11, 12 years old. So like that was right when YouTube was like brand new. And there were only like a handful of like gaming channels. So I think when I was first like getting into gaming, there weren't really any female role models yet. There was like a fictional one at some point. If anyone knows Video Game High School, Jenny Matrix. I thought she was like incredible, but she's not real. But like once I got into like content creation, I was not like someone who watched gaming YouTube or like Twitch. So I think the only female streamer that I really knew of well was Dizzy Kitten. And she like, my emotes are like heavily inspired by her emotes. They're like my favorite thing ever. Because she's just like chill vibes. She does variety, and I was like, I would love to be able to like stream variety like she does and have like the viewership and success that she does. And because she still streams Dizzy Kitten, she's awesome. But once I got into like actively getting involved in Halo stuff, Lottie, I think when I first started getting into HCS, which was only like with Infinite, I saw, like, first of all, I thought it was really cool that there was, like, a woman hostess. And I definitely, like, saw Lottie and was like, okay, she's, like, way up here, and I'm, like, here. So I'm probably never gonna get to meet her or talk to her or anything, which is insane because, like, we've become such good friends. And I'm like, she's like a badass, and she's also like one of the girls, so I don't know why I was ever like intimidated to go like talk to her. So like, I don't know, maybe message to other ladies, like if you see someone who's like where you want to be, or like you think they're like way up here and that they wouldn't even talk to you, chances are they probably will, and they're probably very chill and they're like happy to give you advice or talk to you and like will be friendly. I am yet to meet any women in the community, especially women with like a larger platform, who are like territorial of it, like who don't want to talk to you and like will be aggressive about it. Like everyone's been, you know, Jen, Kayla, Lottie, like everyone's been very nice and chill and welcoming. So
I do agree with that too. Something that I do want to shout out Jen. Like, you know, she was supposed to be on tonight's show. She did have some things come up, but we still love her and we're still going to show her love. Just because, you know, anybody who's willing to kind of take the time, again, time is irreplaceable. So anybody who's willing to take the time out and sit down with me and talk, I just appreciate it so much. And, yeah, I appreciate you three so much, and I want to make sure that I at least let you three know that so many people look up to you, not just women. There's guys out there who look up to you three too. You're absolutely badass. What you do is incredible, and yeah, like thank you. Like I can't thank you enough. Thank you so incredibly much for just kind of being you and being here and kind of paving the way for people like me and like women like me to kind of make their way into this space and carve out a little section of my own, you know. So like you three are absolutely incredible, and I just want to make sure that you give the flowers. So W's in the chat please for these three women. I want to see a bunch of W's. I want to see your favorite emote. I don't care what it is, something bright, something colorful, anything, but absolutely major W's to these three women. It's been absolutely incredible, and again, I want to thank you three again so incredibly much for your time. And that's gonna be the end of our
Sin,
ladies night show.
am I allowed to say one thing?
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having us on. You are amazing. I think this idea is fantastic and much needed, and it's a wonderful platform for women to be able to come on, talk about themselves, you know, push things a little bit further, and a really safe space to do so as well. So thank you so much for doing this. You're absolutely killing it. And chat, listen up. If you do have any primes, if you do have any spare change, any subs, please do sub, because this lady absolutely deserves it.
use it on
You enjoyed the
Sid.
show today.
Give me
Please
them
do sub.
primes.
To, you know, to really support and all the content that she's been putting out, because it's absolutely amazing. So thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. So that is going to basically conclude the show for today. So thank you all three again, and I hope that you all three have a great night. Active, thank you so much for that 5 gifted. Listening to Lottie, let's go. But yeah, that's basically all I have for the night. So again, thank you all so much. And I'm just gonna kind of do some closing statements here. I want to thank HCS again for the drops and for your support for tonight's episode of Ladies Night. I really appreciate it. It's been absolutely cool to have your support for this. I want to, again, just thank you so much for putting me on the calendar and kind of letting me do this. Absolutely incredible. Thank you all so much for the incredible raids. Thank you for the subs, for the primes, for the gifted. I want to thank all of the viewers and everybody that stuck around and watched this show today. It's been absolutely incredible, and I couldn't thank you all enough for taking your time out just to kind of hang out and have a conversation, you know, and just kind of learn some more about some awesome women in the community. I want to give the biggest shout out in the entire world to Furzilla, the producer. Without him, like straight up, you guys, without him, this episode would not have been possible. He has talked me through every step. And last night I thought that I was fully convinced that I could do this whole thing by myself without somebody else helping me. And I was so incredibly wrong. And I literally hit him up about 5 or 6 hours ago. And I said, look, I really need your help. Can you please produce tonight's show for me? And he instantly picked it up. He made everything possible, made this all happen. So I cannot seriously thank Furzilla enough for being an incredible producer and somebody who's really helped me through this whole entire process. I also want to give a special shout out to Game Crazy John, one of my mods, who has also been on the ball helping me with everything for this episode. Truly was my biggest one, and it took a village to kind of create it. So I just want to make sure that I'm at least giving the flowers to those people. I also want to take a second and thank my partners. I want to thank AverMedia, Clutch, and Gamer Advantage. If any of you ever feel like shopping with them, you can use code SIN at checkout for a discount. I am going to shamelessly plug myself right there. And we are going to send the night off with a raid. So again, I appreciate everybody so incredibly much for all of your time. We are going to do something a little bit different right now. We are going to go raid HCS Pro Talk. They are doing they're just an HCS Pro Talk show. There's nothing else to really say about it besides they are kind of a show that just talks about all of HCS and things that are happening. So they've been really kind to me and they've been really good allies in this whole thing with you know, with kind of just kind of helping me, you know, and just promoting the show and things like that. So I just want to make sure that everybody goes in there, and I want everybody to go show HCS Pro Talk some love. They've showed me love, so I want to make sure that we show them love. So that's where we're going to go. We're going to start this raid right now. And again, thank you all so incredibly much for sticking around for HCS, the Road to Arlington, and I'll see you next time.